Hey everybody, it's Kenny Care again. Sitting in my comfy chair. I wanted to talk to you about the found footage movie that came out in 2024, The Coldness. It was a search on Google that I looked up the 10 best found footage movies of 2024, and The Coldness was one of them. And The Coldness, when I just put on Google new released found footage movies, The Coldness was for a long time there underneath. Now there's one that I'm really interested in. It's called Strange Harvest, but I can't see it. I can't buy it. I can't. It's I don't know. And I'm also really interested in Chris Tuckman's debut to Hollywood, Shelby Oaks, a found footage, psychological found footage movie because he loves the Babadook and the artsy fartsy movies, but it has a term because in Scream 5, Jenna Ortega tells the killer, I like that kind of movies, and she gives it a term. There's a specific term to those movies, like Hereditary, Midsummer, The Babadook, those kind of movies. I call them artsy fartsy, and I'm not shy for those movies because I saw The Wicker Man, the complete cut, and the only thing I remember was the beautiful blonde fucking the wall, and the other constable was on the wall shooting his trousers full, and his pants, his trousers, because it's English, full of jizz mountain. No, I saw this movie called The Coldness. It's with a guy, a retired New Jersey police detective called Nick Polito, and he lost his wife a year ago called Helen, and he's sort of stricken with this case that he found this woman in a refrigerator, but the thing was that the refrigerator was locked from the inside, and they fucked with the thermostat, so it would be sub zero, go to sub zero, and they freeze to death, and they swallowed the key so they couldn't get out. So it's more like a suicide. And there was more going on with that than just being a suicide. So it's gonna be a spoiler review, by the way. I'll tell you when I'm spoiling it, right? Now, personally, I didn't like it. It wasn't creepy. It was boring. It was tedious. It took a long time. It started good because I thought, oh, he's gonna hunt down a serial killer that he always, an occult killer, you know, that he always wanted to catch, but he couldn't because he retired because he got a bullet in his kneecap. And I'm gonna say that's one of the worst places to get a bullet. Now been doing, I've been training strongman, powerlifting, boxing, all competition. I did this for 20 years long. No pain, no fucking gain. And now I'm a human being that's hanging together with duct tape and some string. And the problem is, I gotta get a new knee. I gotta get a prosthetic knee. Now here in Belgium, we do have universal health care. The procedure costs around $60,000, but for us it costs $1,000. A box of oxycolon costs 50 cents. So I always flabbergasted that in the United States, this guy, obviously in his 50s, obviously if he would be in my country, he would be, and I love America, and I love American people, and I always think they should have universal health care because there's a lot of problems there. Now, this is a side tangent. I know about the movie, but I'm still gonna say it. Fuck you. Uh, he should get it. I mean, he shouldn't be have. Here's a cane, a fucking cane, and he was a police officer, so he had pretty good health coverage probably, and he couldn't get the operation. He couldn't get the fake knee because maybe it would give 20% back if he got the best coverage, but still has to put down 40 grand paying dozens of dollars for a box of oxycodone or tramadol or something like a painkiller, which we pay 50 cents for. And then we have like a shortened coupon that it costs nothing. It's just blows my mind. It's a fucked up system in America. Sorry to say that, guys. I do love America. I go a lot to America. I travel a lot. I mean, small story. A friend of my wife, a colleague, went to LA, and her son slipped in the bathtub, hit his head on the faucet, was bleeding. The hotel called a doctor, but it was at night. So a doctor coming at night, sewing it shut. Here's the bill, ma'am, $8,000. What the fuck? With her healthcare, she still had like to pay. She still had, she had to pay like $3,000, and we always tell them, and we always do that. If we go to the states, we take the full health coverage, which means if this happens to us, we pay $0, and we get the best healthcare in the United States. But it's so fucked up that somebody going to a fucking emergency room and they see you don't have healthcare, get the fuck out, bitch, or asshole. What the fuck? And then here you go to the emergency. They will take you in, operate on you, and even if you don't have coverage, it's just fucked up. But okay, that's a side tangent that I just wanted to get out there. But now this guy, like I said, is kind of obsessed with this, and he's doing a documentary about it. Okay. Now he heard from his friend of the Jersey Police Department that still gives him information that he found another body in the fridge, same kind of deal, and he got the keys from him to be there for 30 minutes and out. And what he found was in the freezer department above the where the body was in, there was a tray of ice cubes, and one was filled, and there was a piece of hair in it, and a piece of paper with a symbol on it, like a druid symbol. Now, his former partner, Terry, he at some point just quit. Without any reason at all, he quit. And he went to go to Terry's, he let himself go. And apparently, he let his maid go because he's living in this fancy neighborhood, and he got rich somehow. We don't know how, but it's at the end, you get the picture how he did it. Because he found something out, and that's the reason why he left the force. Now, he also goes to, so he doesn't give him any information that's viable. He looks at the last girl's YouTube channel. She was an influencer, but her reactions to her hair were extremely like, what kind of animal is living on your fucking head? Just shave your head. I mean, the internet can be such assholes, such fucking dickheads. I mean, you know, a piece of shit on the ground is actually better. I'd rather step in a piece of shit on the ground than that's more worth to me than somebody like that on the internet. Yeah. Now, eventually, she got new hair, and he went into her apartment. She worked in a Dairy Queen, and she was apparently also the maid for Terry. Now she stopped doing it because she got all these expensive shoes and purses and things that who the hell can buy that, like from very expensive brands. Now he, like I said, he found a piece of hair, so he went to a Wicca or a witch in Las Vegas, a known witch on YouTube, and she wanted to talk with him. So what she said was, this is basically a symbol, which is a magic symbol, not magic with a C at the end, but with a K at the end. It's a symbol of spirits that give you what you want. It's a want symbol. So if I want to get rich, it's gonna make me rich. If it wants to make me famous, it's gonna make me famous. But you have to look out, you have to believe in it, and you have to burn it, throw it in the ocean, freeze it in an ice cube, and it will come out. And like the influencer had beautiful hair the day after his. Now, if you wish, he then of course takes the test, and he gives a simple test because he doesn't believe it. He puts this symbol, in a block of, in an ice cube block, puts water on it, puts it in the fridge, waits, and he writes. And I don't understood that. He writes a letter to himself. What's it gonna? What? What's gonna happen? What happens is he got a call from his LAPD, from his Jersey PD friend, that he could get the telephone number of the ex-boyfriend of the girl that was found in the fridge. And he opened the letter, and he said, getting information of the ex-boyfriend. So he got the information through that symbol, and now he starts to get, okay, it starts to work. So he goes to the boyfriend. He said that she never really wanted to commit suicide. She was happy, but for some reason she changed. And I'm still thinking this is gonna, okay, this now is gonna pop out like a creepy occult movie, because they said it's occult paranormal activity shit. And eventually, now spoilers, okay, this movie isn't paranormal activity, isn't occult killer. It's just, so what he does is he puts another want signal in there, and he's in the outside in the mountains hiking with no cane. He wished that his leg would heal, and it was completely healed. He could run, hike, climb mountains. He was super happy. Now, the problem is, what happens is he calls the Wicca again, and he wants Helen because he's still in grief, so he still wants her. And then she said, you really have to watch out with that. And the spirits giving you another spirit that's already dead, giving you money and health, that's something different. But giving you another spirit of the spirit world that's already dead is dangerous. That's playing with fire. He ignored her. Then he said, what? Now, just tell me what to do. She says, okay, you gotta be completely, you gotta clean your slate, get a, you gotta communicate with these ghosts because he's already hearing the ghosts scratching, whispering. She says that's not a good sign because they want to communicate with him. Take Buy yourself a Ouija board or a piece of pen and paper and let the ghost draw it. So he's holding the pen, but he's not drawing it, and it says "Tell Terry." So he goes to Terry again. Terry he tells him about the knee. He's telling about Helen, and he says put the camera off, and then we see him coming out, and apparently he didn't say really jack shit about everything. He just rambled on about things, and he still he still didn't know anything about Terry. So why did the ghost say tell Terry? Because the day after, um, our detective gets a call that Terry is dead. So I'm guessing that the ghosts spirits took a life to get his wand symbol, and then he loses his mind completely, and he thinks that he hears Helen through the airco shutters, and eventually he is there. He has the USB stick, the drive for what he made in this documentary, and then he goes in a fucking fridge with the ice cube above him for Helen, and use he brings a camera in the fridge, and then he says the only thing he says is the coldness. Okay, and then you hear him swallowing the key, but you don't see it, and then you hear whispering and scratches around the refrigerator, and the movie ends. Bam, that's the movie. What the fuck? What the effing fuck? What? Dull, not scary, and it's a horror movie. It says it's a found footage horror movie. It's not a thriller. It's not a drama, a found footage drama. No, it's a horror movie. What the fuck was horrifying about that? I don't even understand the entire fridge thing. Is it the ghost saying you fucked up? You gotta kill yourself? You're gonna get what you want? Yeah, he's gonna get what he wants because he's gonna die, and then he's gonna meet Helen in the netherworlds, probably. That's how it works. What did he thought that Helen would knock on the door? Hi, I'm back, honey. Let's give you some, like in Pet Cemetery, when he with the Wendigo, the Indian burial ground, but the Wendigo resides there, and what comes out is this piece of spirit of the Wendigo, and the Wendigo eats human flesh. So like these people that are coming out are like half zombies or whatever, and they eat you, they bite you. I always thought that scene with that little kid was so creepy. Then his wife standing there over him, taking the knife behind him. I mean, that was so creepy. Stephen King's Pet Cemetery. I gotta review that one. I didn't review that one yet, but it's one of those movies that I really think is eerie and creepy. But I should watch it. I should watch it. And also very dramatic with the kid. What was his name? Sage. With the guy. Don't go behind the barn, because behind the barn it's only gonna be dead and spoiling. It's gonna be spoil and death behind the barn. There, the path. Following the path. Don't bury a cat there behind the barn. That's the actor, the old guy. No, the coldness 4.5. Yeah, I'm not interested in that movie. Some people may think it's an interesting story, but with those one symbols. But no, no. I was hoping for a good horror movie, and what I didn't like that it was saying is gonna be a paranormal activity movie. I didn't want to see that again. What I did want to see was that he would find the killer, and that he would, that the killer would find him and follow him and kill him eventually in an occult way, and that or somebody around him that he knows in an occult way. That was my idea, but sadly enough, that wasn't the case, and we got this weird one symbol thing that you go to. Eventually, you kill yourself in a. All of them they killed. It's not just him. The spirit said, "Go into a refrigerator, say the coldness, and you die, and you don't get jack shit." But okay, so the coldness 2024. Everybody, somebody who's interested, I think you can see on Tubi right now. I'm not sure. In any case, 4.5. I hope you enjoyed the review. Subscribe, like, comment, and see you next time. Bye.